Right friends, welcome back to Q&A discussion. This is 13th session and look at the first question. Prepaid payment instruments are quite often in the news, and look at the following sentences. Prepaid payment instruments, please look into this picture, it will be clear to you. This mobile wallets, smart cards, all these types comes under prepaid payment instruments. They facilitate purchase of goods and services against the value stored in such instruments. Then they can be of smart cards, magnetic stripe cards, internet accounts, mobile wallets, and these two are correct. The third one, if you see, they are unregulated and the license is issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This is wrong. They are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India. Very important. Look at the next one. People for the ethical treatment of animals, PETA. People for the ethical treatment of animals, PETA, is quite often in the news. It came into the news because of Jallikattu and Kambala, and it is the global organization fighting for the ethical treatment of animals and is headquartered in United States of America. It was established somewhere around 1980 or so. It is a global organization fighting for the ethical treatment of animals, headquartered in USA. PETA India is based in Mumbai and is associated with the banning of Jallikattu and Kambala. And if you want people for the ethical treatment of animals, I have given entire information here. You can look into these issues. It is based in USA, established in 80. Then 4 core issues it looks at, and Indian organization or PETA India is located in Mumbai, and it focuses primarily in the areas in which the greatest number of animals suffer the most: food and leather industries, in the laboratories and in the entertainment industry, right. Then India's first mission, I told you in there, but I asked here question, please go through it. India's first mission to study sun is expected to be launched in 1920. Look at the following sentences. It is named as Aditya L1, absolutely correct. It will be placed in the orbit around Lagrangian point L1. I explained you the meaning of L1. Here L1 has got major advantage of continuously viewing the sun without any occultation or eclipses, right. It facilitates study of corona of the sun in different wave bands. This point is very important. It facilitates the study of corona in different wave bands, all 4. Then Union Cabinet has given approval for signing the collaborative agreement with the French National Research Agency, that is ANR France, to support the Belmont Forum Secretariat. What is the Belmont Forum? Belmont Forum is the group of the world major and emerging funders of global environmental change research. So please don't forget, Belmont Forum means it is the group of world's major and emerging funders of global environmental change research. The second point, if you see, it aims to accelerate the delivery of the environmental research needed to remove critical barriers to sustainability by mobilizing the international resources. So here the environmental research should not be hampered and critical barriers must be removed by mobilizing international finance. That is the main goal of this Belmont Forum. India is a member of Belmont Forum. Please understand, India is a member of Belmont Forum. And the last one is very important, transformations to sustainability. This call was given around 3 months ago. Please go through this. Transformations to sustainability call is given by Belmont Forum. So 1 to 4 is the right answer. So this transformations to sustainability call is very important, and India is a member of Belmont Forum. Then look at the following. Param Ishan, IIT Guwahati. This is the supercomputer and considered to be the largest in northeastern part, southern part, eastern part. And solar Urja lamp, we have discussed about it. This is the program of IIT Bombay. Pratham is the satellite of IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay launched satellite Pratham at the same time. Sole program is of IIT Bombay, Param Ishan, IIT Guwahati. So 1 and 2 correct. If you look at the next question, I just now explained in the lecture part. Scorpion class of submarines are being built in India. Look at the following sentences. They are being built at Majagon Docks Limited, Mumbai. Technical collaboration from DCNS of France. INS Kalvari Khanderi are examples of Scorpion class of submarines. So, all 1, 2, 3. Quite often we come across offset clause in the defense contracts. Offset clause in the defense contracts. What is the meaning of offset clause? The meaning is, if a foreign supplier is supplying something, if a foreign supplier of defense equipment supplies something, he has to agree to manufacture a given percentage of its product in value terms in the buying country. That is offset clause. Suppose if there is an agreement for 100 crores, let us assume that the offset clause is 30%. He has to establish manufacturing facility for at least 30 crores of the value. Right, that is the meaning of offset clause. So, if someone talks about offset clause, don't be frightened. This is the meaning of offset clause. Then look at the following: Chinook helicopters, then Apache helicopters, then Poseidon 8I aircraft, then Howitzer M777 guns. Chinook, Apache, Poseidon 8I, Howitzer guns, all belongs to United States of America origin. So, these defense equipments, please don't forget, and this Howitzer M777, total 145 we have to receive from American firm BAE Systems, and as per the news reports, 2 Howitzer guns we received yesterday, right? And these guns are very much essential, Howitzer guns, when we look at protecting our border with China, because these can be airlifted to the high altitude regions and their weight is substantially reduced because of the use of titanium. So, all these things don't forget, read something about defense equipments. So, these 4 belongs to United States of America. INS Chakra is in the news, and INS Chakra and INS Arihant, they are very important. We discussed about Scorpion class. Similarly, we deliberate about others also in due course of time, and INS Chakra is in the news along with INS Arihant, and these 2 things I will cover maybe next week in detail. And INS Chakra was originally built by Russia, then it comes under Akula class of submarines, then it is a nuclear powered attack submarine. All 3 are correct. So, it was originally built by Russia. It comes under Akula class of submarines. It is a nuclear powered attack submarine. All 3 are correct. Government recently launched accessible e-library Sugamya Pustakalaya for Divyangs, which is online library with multiple accessible formats. So, this is online library Sugamya Pustakalaya, and multiple accessible formats are there for the visually impaired people. And look at the following sentences. WIPO leads an alliance of private and public partners, World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, which is behind the Marrakesh Treaty or VIP Treaty, Visually Impaired Persons Treaty. Marrakesh Treaty came into force on September 30, 2016, and that is for Visually Impaired Persons Treaty. And leave that apart, at the same time WIPO leads an alliance of private and public partners known as Accessible Books Consortium. Around 15 countries or so, some organizations of around 15 countries or so are associated with this Accessible Books Consortium. And Sugamya Pustakalaya is yet to become member of Accessible Books Consortium. India Sugamya Pustakalaya at present is not a member of Accessible Books Consortium, and if India becomes member of Accessible Books Consortium, then lot of synergy can be established as far as the accessibility by the visually impaired persons are concerned. So, first one correct, second one wrong. India is not a member of Accessible Books Consortium, and Accessible Books Consortium is the initiative of WIPO, right. Next one, here you see WIPO administered Marrakesh Treaty and leads private and public partners known as Accessible Books Consortium. This was established to support the goals of Marrakesh Treaty, and India launched its own Sugamya Pustakalaya, and there is a synergy is required. Then Earth hour is observed every year across the world, and look at the following sentences. This is to highlight the global warming caused by the burning of oil, coal and gas to drive cars and power plants. And another point is Earth hour is organized by WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature, which is, it is not intergovernmental organization, it is a non-governmental organization. Second one is wrong, please understand. Worldwide Fund for Nature is not intergovernmental organization. One is correct, second one is wrong. Please don't forget, WWF is a non-governmental organization. Special category states are quite often in the news, and look at the following sentences. Special category status is normally given based on the special circumstances, whether it is a hilly terrain, low population density, sizable share of tribal population, strategic location along the borders with neighboring countries, non-viable nature of state finances. So, if you look at all these things, special category states status is given to 11 states in our country at present. Then FATF is quite frequently in the news. It is intergovernmental policy making body. It established international standards for combating money laundering and terrorist financing. Secretariat is situated in the headquarters of OECD in Paris, and India is a member of FATF. Please understand, India is not a member of OECD, but India is a member of FATF, right. So, 1, 2, 3 correct. Next one, the satellite Saral Altica, I told you just now in the lecture class, is measuring fluctuations in water levels of major reservoirs and rivers in India. Look at the following sentences. Saral Altica is joint venture of India and France. Here the Ka band is that Altica is built by France. Satellite altimetry is based on the measurement of two-way travel time of a short pulse of electromagnetic wave sent out by the satellite and reflected by the water surface, right. So, here 1 and 2 correct. Mars exospheric neutral composition analyzer. This is one important aspect. MENCA is in the news recently. All of you are familiar with Mars orbiter mission. This Mars exospheric neutral composition analyzer or MENCA experiment. This experiment is on board Mars orbiter mission. You can say this experiment is on board Mars orbiter mission, and this recently discovered suprathermal argon in the exosphere of Mars. Two words. What is suprathermal? Suprathermal means it will have more energy, right, more temperature you can say, or you can say more energy. And second important point is exosphere is outer layer of the atmosphere, right, outer layer of the atmosphere for any planet. So, here let us look at the sentences. Here it found suprathermal argon in the exosphere of Mars, outer layer of Mars, outer layer of atmosphere of Mars, it detected suprathermal argon. So, look at the following sentences. Suprathermal indicates that they are more energetic compared to thermal populations, and hence their kinetic temperatures are higher. Here in the outer layer of Mars, the kinetic temperatures are much higher. This has got lot of significance in understanding energy deposition in the Martian upper atmosphere, and it will help understand why the Martian atmosphere escape rates are higher than what was believed previously. So, it throws some light on the fact that Martian atmospheric escape rates are higher. Why they are higher, right? So, this is second point. Third one is MENCA, this Mars Exosphere Neutral Composition Analyzer is developed at the Space Physics Laboratory of Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Thiruvananthapuram, right. So, all three are correct. So, such type of questions, please be cautious. If you are able to answer 3-4 such type of questions, then you will be on the positive side than on the negative side, because lakhs of persons will write the examination. So, critically analyze each and everything. RBI recently announced incremental CRR to 100%. This was history. This incremental CRR was increased to 100% for all the deposits from September 16 to November 11. In this context, look at the following sentences. This was a temporary measure to absorb excess liquidity under CRR, absolutely correct. This was a temporary measure to absorb excess liquidity. Unlike CRR, banks get interest from RBI, absolutely wrong. It is just like CRR, no interest. Only for the one time measure, Reserve Bank of India stipulated 100% incremental CRR. Whatever the money you are getting during that period, please keep it under CRR. Then under CRR, Reserve Bank of India will not pay any interest. Please remember, RBI resorts to incremental CRR quite often, absolutely wrong. It was a one time measure. In fact, because of demonetization, one only correct. So, if you want more about incremental CRR, why the RBI stipulated incremental CRR means to absorb excess liquidity, because lot of cash is deposited, and you may have a pertinent doubt why the Reserve Bank of India cannot absorb excess liquidity under reverse repo. Under reverse repo, it cannot absorb because of the reason under reverse repo, RBI has to give guarantee of government securities. But the government securities were up to only 7 lakh crores were available with RBI. There was a lot of money in the system, and government securities with RBI were available at that time only up to rupees 7 lakh crores, and as sufficient government securities are not available, because the scheme here is under reverse repo, when banks park money with RBI, under reverse repo, when banks park excess money with RBI, RBI has to give government securities as collateral security. Under repo also same thing, but it is in the reverse. So, here sufficient government securities were not available with the Reserve Bank of India. That is why the Reserve Bank of India has gone for 100% incremental CRR. Here nothing is required. RBI will not pay interest also. No security is required, or you can say no government security is required here, right. Look into the next one. Recently, RBI increased ceiling of market stabilization scheme. Here MSS is the measure introduced which will act as a tool to absorb excess liquidity, absolutely correct. MSS is the measure which will act as a tool to absorb excess liquidity. They are part of market borrowing program is absolutely wrong. They are not part of central government's market borrowing program, and this tool will be useful to suck excess liquidity or to use it as a tool as and when it is required to absorb liquidity, keep it in the separate account with Reserve Bank of India, and it will not be used by the central government, or you can say it is not part of market borrowing program of central government. So, this is to be maintained as a special MSS account with RBI. These can be utilized for SLR purpose, very important. These bonds can be utilized for SLR securities purpose. So, 1, 3 and 4 correct. Please go through these questions carefully, because in examination this 100% incremental CRR as well as market stabilization scheme can be asked, because this incremental CRR is normally one time measure. Then if you want more about market stabilization scheme, please go through this. The limit now increased from rupees 30,000 crore to rupees 6 lakh crores to absorb excess liquidity. So, this is also the tool to absorb excess liquidity, and after enhancing this to 6 lakh crores, then Reserve Bank of India has withdrawn that incremental CRR, right. So, please go through this. A question is expected either on that or on this. Then RBI prohibited Indian companies or entities from making direct investments in non-cooperative countries and territories, and RBI prohibited Indian companies cannot invest or cannot make direct investments in non-cooperative countries and territories. Who will declare this non-cooperative countries and territories? They are designated by Financial Action Task Force, please do not forget. Then Atal Tinkering Labs are being established, and Niti Aayog is primarily vested with the task. What is the main purpose of Atal Tinkering Labs? The main purpose of Atal Tinkering Labs is to inculcate scientific innovation in the young minds. This is very important, right. Then the last question, which of the following is incorrectly matched? These things also very important from examination perspective. Astra is air to air missile. Pinaka is multi-barrel rocket launcher. Multi-barrel rocket launcher is Pinaka. Rustum is unmanned aerial vehicle, but Kanderi is a Scorpion class of submarine, what we have discussed just now, right. So, 1, 2, 3 correct. So, here the right answer is Kanderi. Kanderi is not surface to air missile, it is a Scorpion class of submarine, right. These things are very important. One more term, please do not forget, Swati. Please look for what is the Swati, and I will try to cover some of the defense things maybe during the last weeks, right. So, next week we will go with revision classes, Indian Geography 2 classes, and at the same time one class important committee recommendations and the present status, and similarly I will take up another class of international organizations. That will be the schedule for next week, and these questions and answers will be combined together, right. So, please do join again for Monday at 11 AM for revision, 11:30 for Q&A. Have a nice day. Thank you.